What's happening, guys? It's Boxing Lowdown and I'm back here with another video. Now, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Feel free to drop a comment if you like and I'll happily get back to you. Now, I wasn't actually going to do a video on this, but I was asked by a few people to do so. So, you know, if people ask me to do a video, I'll happily do it. But yeah, Devin Haney, let's get straight into it, man. Made some controversial comments over the past couple of days. It was an interview, I believe, on 78 Sports TV, which is a YouTube channel. And it was him, his dad, and 78 Sports TV. It was like a live stream, and they were all just talking about boxing in general, just chopping it up in general about, you know, fights not being made, and, you know, Devin Haney wanting to be fighting all the best guys in the division. We've seen over the last like few weeks, months, whatever, Devin Haney relentlessly calling people out, and I've noticed it, and loads of other people have noticed it. He's really been like looking to call people out. You know, we've even had some fighters say, you know, shut up, and like Teofimo Lopez come out and like just say, oh, you talk too much and whatever. I mean, he has stirred some people up the wrong way, but his comments on the live stream, particularly about losing to quote unquote white boy, hasn't gone down very well with the majority of the boxing public, and he has been condemned for some of the things he said. Now, just to remind anyone that hasn't seen it, he basically said that he doesn't see himself losing to a white boy, in his words, ever. No, he said that no white boy would beat him, and if he was to fight a white boy 10 times, he would defeat them 10 times. Like, that's what Devin Haney said on the live stream, something along those lines anyway. I didn't actually watch the whole live stream, but from what I've gathered, that's what was said. So I haven't seen the actual context of the comments. I believe he was replying to a comment about Lomachenko, and yeah, obviously it's gone down the wrong way. And there's been a lot of people coming out. I've seen boxers come out and condemn it. I've seen loads of people on my Twitter feed, everywhere, just saying it was the wrong thing to say. And look, it was the wrong thing to say, like, let's be honest. And we've seen it in the past when fighters have made comments like this, it has come back to haunt them. You've only got to look at Bernard Hopkins when he took on Joe Calzaghe. He famously said, you know, I'll never let a white boy beat me. And he lost to Joe Calzaghe on the splits decision. We've seen Alan Minter, if you guys want to dig deep into your history. Alan Minter came out and said that he wouldn't lose his title to a black man when he fought Marvin Hagler. After that, he lost the fight in the third round. I believe it was on cuts, but he lost the fight on the third round stoppage. So when you make comments like these, it tends to come back to bite you. And with Devin Haney, I mean, I know he's very confident in his ability. He's a young, brash, up-and-coming kid, very skilled, very talented. And I think that he'll hopefully learn from making comments like these in the future. Even if it is something that you believe, then really you should just keep it to yourself, because if you lose now, is people going to be coming for your head? And maybe that's what he wants. Maybe that's the sort of reaction that Devin Haney wanted, for people to come at him. You know what I mean? Like I said, he's only 20 years old. He's calling out everybody. He doesn't feel like he's getting the response that he wants. So maybe if he ruffled a bit of feathers, then that could be what he needs to do. But I don't know how it's going to... I mean, it hasn't gone down well. Let's just put it that way. And yeah, like I said, it was the wrong thing to say. And racism in boxing does exist. Now, I'm not saying Devin Haney is a racist. Like, I'm not saying that. I mean, he could... I don't know the context of the words that it was said. And you just have to be careful with what you do say nowadays in boxing. I mean, like, we've seen it with Billy Joe Saunders. When he released that video about domestic violence, that was clearly a joke, but it was a bad taste joke. And it's gone down the wrong way. And you've seen the reaction that it's got. You know, I mean, he's suspended by the British Boxing Board of Control. And after what? Like, just a joke that he made on a video that went down wrong. And it's similar for Devin Haney. I mean, obviously he's not British, but he's made some comments and it's gone out to his millions of followers. They've seen it, and, you know, it's gone down the wrong way. And maybe something that could have been just a little joke to you won't be taken the same by people. Like I said in the previous video, this society is a lot different to how it was back in the day. And comments like those will correctly, it'll get condemned from people everywhere. And that's just how this has gone down. So I think that Devin Haney hopefully will learn from this. And he's already apologised for the comments, you know, for the controversy that he's caused. He said that he's had a call with the WBC president, Mauricio Suleiman, and spoke about his future conduct. So hopefully he has learned from this, and, you know, hopefully he will... I know he wants to fight people. I know he feels like he needs to stir up a lot of attention, but this isn't the right way to do it, man. But in terms of racism and racially biasedness in boxing, I mean, I believe it does exist. And not just with these particular comments. I mean, I've seen in the past people made comments before. You've only got to look at, I can bring up some examples as well. Abel Sanchez saying that black fighters don't sell, which is a ridiculous thing to say when you look at the highest money-making person in the sport in history is a black man. So, yeah, people will say what they want to say to ruffle a bit of feathers. We saw that boxer come in with, he had those Donald Trump shorts, and he had like a wall on his shorts. I mean, you remember that? He lost as well, by the way. I think was he fighting a Mexican fighter? I can't remember. But it does, what I'm trying to highlight to you guys is that it does exist, racism in boxing. So there have been plenty of stuff in the past, and plenty of things will be said in the future. I mean, that's just how boxing tends to be. It is a very tribal sport. You know, people tend to gravitate towards their own. When you look at like the Mexican fighters, for example, they have a very strong, passionate Mexican following. And if you speak to anybody in that Mexican following, they'll go and say that they'll root for their Mexican fighter. And for me personally, I don't think I don't see like the outrage in that at all. I don't see it, because when we as Brits fly over to America and box an American, the Brits will root for the Brit. You know, that's just how it is. Like if an American flew over here and they brought some Americans over, they'll root for the American. It does happen. I mean, there is a lot of tribalism in boxing. So I think the sooner that people can get their heads around that and understand that, then the better. I mean, there wouldn't be so much shock as there was over these comments from Devin Haney. Like, let me just highlight again, wasn't the right thing to say, but it is something that happens in boxing. I mean, people do tend to, gravitate towards their own. So, yeah, I don't know what you guys think about it, but that's just my own personal thoughts and opinions. There's been plenty of examples, man, of this going on. And like I said, there'll be even more in the future. But Devin Haney, like I said, it was the wrong thing to say. And I'm glad that he's apologised for it. He's just a young kid, and hopefully he'll learn from it. But like I said, this won't be the first or the last time this sort of thing happens in boxing. And yeah, I just thought I'd get that out. So curious to hear your thoughts and opinions on it anyway, man. Like I said, what do you think about the racial biasness in boxing? I mean, how do you feel towards it? I mean, if like, for example, I had some friends round and there was like boxing on the TV, for example, and there was like a white Irishman fighting against like a black Cameroon fighter or something, and I've got like a mixed race friend that has Irish heritage, then obviously I'll understand if he wants to support the Irish fighter. That's just how it goes. And I mean, I don't have a problem with that necessarily, but I think that it's just, we need to open ourselves up to realise that this sort of thing does happen in the sport, and we're not living in La La Land. You know, that's just the simple fact of it. So I don't know what the racial demographic is over there in America, in the United States. I mean, I do know, I can talk about it from the outside looking in as a person from the UK, but in terms of how they use the term white boy over there, it's used very loosely. I mean, when you look at you've got a film called White Men Can't Jump, for example. So, I mean, it's used a lot more loosely over there than it is over here in the UK, for example. We tend to be a lot more, we're different when it comes to that sort of thing. But over in America, I think it's a bit different, man. And I think that Devin Haney might have used it like that. I mean, I'm not saying that it was the right thing to say, but I mean, I just think that over there, there's a lot of segregation. It's just the whole demographic over there when it comes to racial relations is different in America than it is over here in the UK. So I'm not going to pretend to know everything about it, but from what I gathered, I heard it was a bit of a joke that was said, but I haven't seen the whole live stream. So yeah, I'll probably have to watch it and then give more of my opinion then. But that's just my thoughts on it all, man. And like I said, hopefully Devin Haney's learned from this and we can move forward from it, and we'll go from there. So anyway, drop your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. I don't want to blabber on too much like I have in this video. Sorry it's gone a bit all over the place, but I just thought I'd kind of empty my thoughts out and just dump them all in this video, and just take what you want from it, man. But yeah, if you agree or if you don't agree, just respectfully leave a comment and I'll happily get back to you all. And yeah, let me know your opinions, because I'm curious to hear yours as well as mine. So thank you all for watching and tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next video tomorrow. What's happening, guys? It's Boxing Lowdown here. Click the link in my bio and check out some of our brand new t-shirts which have just been restocked. We have white, yellow, red and black, all going for the low price of £15. Thank you guys again for tuning in, and I'll make sure to catch you on the next video.